The courtroom felt colder than the marble beneath their feet. Emma Lawson's hands trembled as the gavel struck. The verdict echoed, sharp and unforgiving. "No," she whispered, gripping the edge of the bench, heart pounding. Outside, rain lashed against windows, turning the city into a blur of gray. Detective Marcus Hale leaned back, jaw tight, as whispers of disbelief swirled around him. Across the hall, Valerie Kim's eyes flared with barely concealed anger. Each face told a story of shock and betrayal. Emma's past collided with the present, a haunting letter burning in her pocket. The city didn't pause. It moved with indifferent rhythm, dragging her along. Marcus muttered, "We'll fix this, somehow." Rain poured heavier outside, drumming against the courthouse roof like a warning. Emma Lawson pulled her coat tighter, scanning the gray streets for any sign of help. Marcus Hale caught up, voice low and urgent. "We need a plan. They're watching." Shadows moved unnaturally along alleyways, making the city feel alive with hidden eyes. Her chest tightened. Every step echoed with past failures. Valerie Kim appeared at the corner of her vision, silent, calculating. The letter burned in her pocket, a secret she couldn't ignore. The city's lights shimmered in puddles, reflecting fear, regret, and determination in equal measure. Emma slipped into the dimly lit parking garage, heart hammering against concrete walls. Marcus Hale followed, scanning every shadow. "We can't trust anyone," he murmured. The faint hum of fluorescent lights flickered, exposing peeling paint and abandoned cars. Emma's mind raced through memories of betrayal, each one sharper than the last. The warmth of Valerie Kim's smile earlier felt like a lie now. Her steps echoed against the cold floor, a reminder that danger lurked close. Marcus checked his phone for updates, frustration etched on his face. Every decision felt like a gamble, every breath a risk. A sudden noise made Emma freeze. A loose chain rattled. Marcus motioned, "Stay quiet." Footsteps echoed, growing closer. She pressed against a cold pillar, clutching the sealed letter. Valerie Kim's figure appeared at the garage entrance, expression unreadable. Betrayal, fear, and confusion collided in Emma's chest. She remembered promises of protection that now felt hollow. Marcus whispered, "We need to move. Now." Her instinct screamed danger, yet the letter's secret urged caution. Shadows stretched and twisted across the floor as distant sirens wailed. Every second felt elongated, heavy with impending confrontation. Emma bolted, rain pounding on her back, the letter burning like a warning. Marcus kept pace, breathing sharp, muscles coiled. Valerie Kim disappeared into shadowed streets, a ghost of manipulation. Every alleyway became a maze of doubt and fear. The city, cold and indifferent, mirrored her panic. She wondered if survival demanded compromise, or if the truth demanded sacrifice. Her hands tightened on the letter, the secret within heavy with consequence. A siren blared in the distance, blending with her racing heartbeat. Marcus's voice cut through. "We can't stop now. Not yet." The night seemed endless, yet the chase had just begun. The abandoned warehouse loomed like a tomb, shadows swallowing corners where secrets hid. Emma Lawson paused at the entrance, breath shallow, eyes scanning crates stacked haphazardly. Marcus Hale followed, alert and cautious, flashlight cutting streaks through dust-laden air. Valerie Kim had vanished, leaving only subtle hints, a boot print, a smudge of lipstick. The letter burned in Emma's pocket, heavy with unspoken truths. Wind howled through broken windows, rattling metal sheets, echoing threats of imminent confrontation. Each step forward revealed decay and neglect. Marcus whispered, "We're not alone. Stay close." Tension coiled like a spring, ready to snap with the first misstep. Emma's fingers brushed the envelope inside her coat, the weight of its contents burning through her nerves. Marcus moved silently ahead, eyes darting between shadows and dangling chains. Valerie Kim's presence was almost spectral, a whisper of menace hidden in the dark. "We need to be careful," Marcus muttered, scanning the floor for hidden traps. Emma's mind replayed past betrayals, friends who vanished, allies who lied. The letter wasn't just a secret, it was a key to survival or doom. A sudden clang made her jump. A rat scurried across a pile of crates, but the tension remained thick. Their breath synchronized in the warehouse stillness, each step heavy with anticipation. Footsteps echoed from above. Emma froze, heartbeat quickening. Marcus gestured to hide behind a stack of crates. Through a broken skylight, moonlight streaked across the floor. Valerie Kim's silhouette appeared on a catwalk, expression unreadable. "She's testing us," Marcus whispered. Emma's instinct screamed danger, yet the letter felt heavier than ever. Her mind raced. How much could she trust Marcus? The shadows seemed to move of their own accord, twisting reality and amplifying fear. Every sound, the drip of water, the creak of metal, a distant siren, was magnified. Emma's grip on the letter tightened, her knuckles whitening. The night was alive, breathing suspense. Suddenly, Valerie Kim leapt down, landing silently, her eyes cold and calculating. "You've come far, Emma," she said, voice smooth, threatening. Emma's heart skipped, fury and fear colliding. Marcus stepped in front, protective and firm. The warehouse seemed to close in, metal groaning under unseen weight. The letter burned against Emma's chest, a reminder of stakes too high to ignore. Shadows shifted around them as if alive, echoing every heartbeat. A gust of wind sent debris skittering across the floor. The air felt electric, anticipation thick. Emma realized confrontation was inevitable. Every instinct demanded action. A sudden roar of thunder shook the warehouse, lightning illuminating every corner. Emma's resolve hardened. The letter's secret demanded courage. Marcus and Valerie squared off, tension vibrating through the air. Emma stepped forward, voice steady. "This ends tonight." Valerie smirked, unreadable, evaluating her opponents. Dust swirled, chains rattled, shadows danced across walls. The past and present collided, every decision carried consequences. Emma's pulse raced, fury mingling with fear. She felt the weight of destiny pressing down, the line between victim and villain narrowing. The night was no longer silent, it was the battlefield. Emma Lawson crouched in the narrow alley behind the courthouse, the rain soaking her coat. Marcus Hale scanned the surroundings, every shadow a potential threat. Evidence of a larger conspiracy had begun to emerge, a briefcase left by a courier, a hastily scribbled note. Emma's mind raced, every clue pointed to someone closer than she realized. The city's neon lights reflected off wet asphalt, blurring the line between friend and foe. "We're being watched," Marcus whispered, tension in his voice. Emma felt a chill, not from the rain, but from knowing that every step forward could ignite danger. A figure darted across the alley, momentarily illuminated by a flickering street lamp. Emma stiffened, recognizing the silhouette. Liam Trent, the reluctant fire starter. "You shouldn't be here," Emma hissed, anger and relief colliding. Liam, agile and sharp-eyed, handed her a small USB drive, eyes darting nervously. "It's bigger than you think," he said. Marcus clenched his jaw, watching every movement. The alley felt alive with tension, every distant siren, every dripping gutter magnifying danger. Emma realized allies and enemies blurred, and the next move could tip the balance irreversibly. Back at the safe house, Emma examined the USB contents, videos, photos, and documents implicating Valerie Kim in the city's criminal underbelly. Shock tightened her chest. Marcus paced, muttering theories aloud, every possibility more dangerous than the last. Liam fidgeted with a sketchbook, nervously doodling while watching their reactions. The evidence confirmed fears Emma hadn't wanted to face. Someone she had trusted, someone she'd leaned on, was orchestrating chaos from the shadows. Each revelation twisted her mind, challenging her resolve to seek justice without becoming a pawn herself. Emma's thoughts were interrupted by the sound of a car outside, tires crunching gravel. She peeked through the blinds, spotting Valerie Kim approaching with deliberate grace. The warm comforter's betrayal was more chilling than expected. Marcus grabbed a metal pipe from the corner, protective stance hardened. "We need to be ready," he said quietly. Liam shrank back, fists clenched, eyes wide. Shadows stretched across the room, each one echoing fear and anticipation. Emma's pulse quickened. Confrontation was imminent. Every heartbeat reminded her that trust was a luxury she no longer possessed. Valerie Kim entered the room with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "You think you're clever," she said, voice smooth, poisonous. Emma stood her ground, fists tightening around the USB drive. Marcus positioned himself between them, muscles coiled like springs. Liam clutched his sketchbook, every instinct telling him to run, yet staying to witness the unfolding storm. The room vibrated with tension. Unspoken threats filled every corner. Emma realized survival required not just courage but cunning, outsmarting someone who had always controlled the narrative. Every second counted. Every move had consequence. Emma Lawson stared at the grainy video on the laptop, disbelief freezing her blood. The reluctant Firestarter's sketches matched faces in the footage. Marcus Hale meeting Valerie Kim in secret. Betrayal cut deeper than she imagined. "He's been feeding her information all along," she whispered. Liam Trent, pale and jittery, nodded. Marcus had always been her anchor, the steady presence she trusted, but now suspicion twisted her chest. Valerie's manipulation was obvious, but the depth of Marcus's involvement shocked her. Trust shattered. The fight for justice became personal. Emma confronted Marcus in the quiet kitchen, tension snapping like a live wire. "How could you?" she demanded. Marcus's jaw tightened, silence stretched between them. Liam Trent hovered by the door, eyes flicking nervously. Marcus finally spoke. "I did it to protect you." Emma's stomach churned. Protection sounded like manipulation. Every revelation tangled the truth with lies. The warm comforter's subtle manipulations were now clear, and Marcus's actions, once comforting, now felt like a knife twisting inside. Emma realized that surviving required more than courage. It demanded cunning. Valerie Kim's phone buzzed with a hidden message, and she smirked, aware that her plan had worked. Emma's gut twisted. The video, the sketches, every piece of evidence, it was orchestrated. The steady anchor, reliable to all appearances, had helped her from the shadows. Emma realized she was now a pawn in a far larger game. Liam Trent's voice trembled. "They're always one step ahead." Emma clenched her fists, fury and fear merging into resolve. Every step she had taken, every ally she had trusted, was now questionable. Emma traced the connections across the city map, pins and strings creating a spiderweb of deceit. Marcus Hale's duplicity, Valerie Kim's influence, and the velvet blade's looming shadow converged. Liam Trent pointed to a cluster of markers, voice small but certain. "They're planning something big." Emma's chest tightened. Every new revelation deepened the danger. Allies could betray. Enemies could strike at any moment. The city, once a backdrop for survival, now pulsed with conspiracies, secrets, and lies. Emma felt the weight of a truth she wasn't sure she could survive confronting. A knock on the door froze Emma mid-motion. The velvet blade stepped inside, elegant and poised, eyes cold, presence commanding. "You think you know the truth," they said, voice smooth and dangerous. Emma felt the room shrink, every heartbeat echoing like a drum. Marcus stiffened. Liam shrank back. The revelation hit hard. The velvet blade had orchestrated much of the chaos, their influence stretching further than anyone imagined. Emma realized the fight for justice was no longer simple. Every move could trigger disaster, and no one could be fully trusted. Emma Lawson's hands shook as she clutched the final piece of evidence, the velvet blade looming in the doorway. Marcus Hale stepped forward, voice low but firm. "We end this now." Liam Trent's eyes darted between them, fear and determination, fighting for dominance. Every step in the game had led to this room, this moment. Betrayal, strategy, and survival collided. Emma drew a deep breath, ready to confront the orchestrator who had toyed with everyone. The final showdown would demand courage, cunning, and the willingness to cross lines she never imagined crossing. The room erupted into chaos. Valerie Kim barged in through the window, smug grin painted across her face. "You really thought it would end without me," she taunted. Emma's focus sharpened. Betrayal now had a new face. Marcus moved to intercept, but Liam Trent shouted, "Don't let them divide us." The walls echoed with accusations, the weight of truth pressing down. Every revelation became a weapon, every trust a potential trap. The battle wasn't just physical, it was mental, testing alliances, wits, and the limits of survival instincts. Emma's mind raced. The velvet blade lunged, a swift, controlled motion that demanded split-second decisions. She ducked, countering with evidence folders, hurling them strategically to create obstacles. Marcus engaged Valerie, their struggle tearing furniture apart. Liam Trent's sketches flew like missiles, distracting enemies with creative ingenuity. The room became a battlefield, a blur of motion, sound, and danger. Every heartbeat was measured, every breath calculated. Emma realized victory required more than brute force. It demanded strategy, intellect, and unyielding courage. A sudden noise froze the room. Emma noticed a hidden mechanism behind the shelf, flickering red lights signaling a countdown. Valerie Kim smirked. "Time's running out." Marcus Hale's eyes widened. Liam Trent gripped Emma's arm. Every second counted. Emma's mind raced, connecting all prior clues. With a decisive motion, she triggered the hidden lock, halting the mechanism. Shock registered on Valerie and the velvet blade's faces. Emma realized that survival wasn't just about strength, it was about observation, intellect, and acting decisively under pressure. The tide was turning. Silence fell, heavy and complete. Valerie Kim and the velvet blade were restrained, their plans foiled. Marcus Hale exhaled, tension easing, while Liam Trent smiled faintly. Emma Lawson stepped forward, victorious but changed. The battle had tested every boundary of trust, courage, and morality. She realized that the city, once a backdrop for survival, now reflected the scars of their journey. Every betrayal and revelation had forged a new strength within her. Emma knew that life would never be simple again, but she had emerged as both survivor and strategist, the victim who became the victor. The city slept under a fragile calm, unaware of the chaos that had erupted days before. Emma Lawson walked along the riverside, the water reflecting the first light of dawn. Marcus Hale stayed beside her, silent but present. Liam Trent trailed, sketchbook in hand, already noting ideas for stories he might one day tell. The scars of battle were invisible to most, yet etched into their minds. Emma reflected on the choices, the betrayals, and the cunning required to survive. Though victory was theirs, it came with a cost she would carry forever. At the precinct, Valerie Kim and the velvet blade faced questioning. The room was stark, fluorescent light bouncing off cold tiles. Their confident masks had slipped. Subtle cracks betrayed fear and disbelief. Officers documented every word. Justice, however imperfect, had a shape tonight. Emma and Marcus observed from the hallway, Liam clutching his sketches. It was a silent acknowledgement. The city might sleep, but vigilance never rested. Lessons had been learned, alliances tested, and consequences accepted. The night's darkness had passed, leaving clarity in its wake. Emma returned to her apartment, keys trembling slightly in her hands. The familiar walls offered comfort and unease simultaneously. Marcus followed, setting his bag down silently. Liam Trent perched near the window, gazing at the city lights, restless and inspired. The chaos of recent events had ended, yet a new rhythm emerged, one tempered by vigilance and awareness. Emma exhaled deeply, understanding that survival was not just a matter of defeating enemies, but of holding on to one's humanity. Tomorrow was uncertain, but for the first time in months, hope felt tangible. Weeks passed. The city returned to its chaotic rhythm, oblivious to what had transpired. Emma, Marcus, and Liam met at a small cafe, sharing quiet smiles and unspoken relief. Plans were made cautiously, life had shifted. Shadows remained in the corners of their minds, but resilience was stronger now. Conversations flowed from mundane to profound, laughter weaving through memories of trials. Bonds forged in fire proved unbreakable. Emma finally allowed herself a small smile, understanding that victory was not just in defeating enemies, but in surviving and moving forward together. From afar, a shadow watched the trio, unseen but deliberate. Emma felt it subconsciously, a reminder that peace was temporary. Liam laughed at a sketch, oblivious while Marcus scanned the street outside. Life had resumed, but vigilance remained. The city, alive and unpredictable, promised both safety and danger. Emma understood that the next challenge could arrive at any moment. Yet for now they thrived, not as victims, nor as villains, but as survivors who had learned to navigate the darkness and carry the light forward. The story was far from over. Emma Lawson stood on the edge of the rooftop, the city stretching endlessly beneath her, neon signs flickering like distant constellations. Marcus Hale remained close, every muscle tense, scanning the shadows below. Liam Trent crouched beside them, sketchbook in hand, capturing the cityscape with trembling urgency. The wind whipped Emma's coat, tugging at her hair, but her eyes never wavered from the horizon. In the distance, faint sirens mixed with the hum of traffic, creating a rhythm that mirrored the tension thrumming through them. Emma's mind replayed every choice, every betrayal, every fleeting victory, and she realized the cost of survival was far more than physical. It etched into memory, soul, and conscience. The lingering memory's presence seemed to hover, unseen but undeniably close, testing their resolve. Each heartbeat became a measure of anticipation, a countdown toward an uncertain confrontation. Their breaths mingled with the cold night air, carrying whispers of promises and warnings unspoken. Emma's gaze met Marcus's, a silent acknowledgement passing between them. Some shadows were never gone. They only waited. A sudden movement caught Emma's attention, a shadow shifting in an alley far below. She blinked, questioning reality, but Marcus' unwavering gaze confirmed it was real. Liam's sketch froze mid-stroke, pencil hovering above paper. The wind carried an eerie whisper that seemed familiar, almost like a half-remembered memory. Emma felt the weight of all prior encounters, victories, and betrayals pressing against her chest. Marcus moved closer, subtly shielding Liam, whose energy vibrated with a mix of fear and artistic obsession. The city's heartbeat pulsed through the concrete and glass, a reminder that they were never alone, that some unseen forces always observed. Emma realized the lingering memory was not a single entity, but a culmination of unresolved fears and lingering truths. Every choice they had made converged in this moment, demanding clarity. Silence pressed heavily, yet anticipation crackled. The shadows waited patiently, and the trio understood. Survival meant more than strength. It meant understanding what they could not see. The footsteps began softly, deliberate, echoing through the city streets far below. Emma's pulse quickened. Marcus gripped the rooftop railing, muscles coiled for action. Liam's sketches blurred into frantic lines, capturing shapes and movement too fast for the eye. The night seemed alive, every light casting a new shadow, every sound amplified. Emma remembered every betrayal, every victory that had led them here, understanding that the lingering memory's power was patience, not aggression. It observed, learned, and waited for the perfect moment to strike or vanish. The air carried a chill that pressed against their skin, yet their resolve burned hotter. Every heartbeat measured anticipation, every glance assessed threat. Emma whispered to herself, "It's still here," though none could see it. Marcus nodded slightly, acknowledging the unspoken truth. Some dangers were eternal, some memories never faded, and some forces required only vigilance to survive. Emma turned slightly toward Marcus, her whisper carried by the wind. "Do you feel it too?" Marcus's nod was subtle, but full of understanding. Liam's pencil quivered, capturing the tension in hurried, jagged lines. The rooftop felt impossibly vast and impossibly small all at once. The lingering memory was everywhere and nowhere, a presence defined by absence. Emma considered the nights of struggle, the choices that had cost them friends and allies, and the victories that had only left more questions. The city hummed beneath them, unaware of the precarious balance above. Every flicker of neon, every shadow stretching across the concrete, seemed to test their courage. Emma realized that survival was never truly over. It was measured in moments of awareness, in the acceptance that some truths are too profound to confront fully. And as the trio faced the wind, they understood. Some shadows must be carried, not defeated. The camera pans upward, leaving Emma, Marcus, and Liam dwarfed by the sprawling city below. A lone shadow watches from a distant alley, partially obscured, hinting at the lingering memory's presence. Emma inhaled deeply, knowing this story was not yet over. The past, present, and unknown future converged in a delicate balance. Some justice remained unfinished, some vengeance unclaimed, and some memories lingered, patient and relentless. The wind carried whispers that were almost human, almost familiar, brushing against their ears without revealing their source. Marcus glanced at Emma, eyes reflecting both caution and understanding. Liam Trent's pencil scratched the last mark, a small but defiant assertion that some truths could still be captured, even if incomplete. The city hummed on below, indifferent, while shadows waited above and beyond. And as the neon flickered and the mist rose, the trio remained vigilant, silent witnesses to the eternal dance between light and darkness.